All right, well, scanners are pretty quiet this morning. We've got overall market down on higher inflation. We're just inflation is not coming down in a significant way, despite the increased interest rates and things like that. I was thinking about this the other day because I went out to dinner, and I usually, for a long, long time, I've sort of felt like I should, if I have a day where I make five or $10,000 trading and I go have dinner somewhere, I feel like I should give a good tip. Like if the dinner's $70, I'll be like, I'll just give a $70 tip. And so I usually will tip pretty well because, to me, it's like if you make $10,000 trading, like what's the difference between a $70 meal and a $150 meal? Like it's like, why not? And I kind of have gotten into this superstition where I feel like it's bad luck not to give a good tip. I start to think, oh, geez, I'm being selfish, and that's not good. So I try to give good tips. But then just last week, I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm actually fueling inflation. Maybe I got to cut back. Maybe I got to bring it down a little bit. Because now what I'm doing, but even by going out, now I'm increasing demand on these services, and I'm giving, an extra big tip that this person can then go spend on something which is going to further increase inflation. So, what we all really have to do, if we really want inflation to go away, I think we need to do a 2-week lockdown. 14-day lockdown. It's listed as 14 days. I think we can all do 14 days. 14 days, don't spend a penny. Don't spend anything. Don't buy anything. Don't buy gas. Don't buy anything. It's a 2-week lockdown. That's it. And I think that's going to get things under control real quick. And if it doesn't work, we'll do 2 more weeks. And then we'll keep doing 2 weeks until eventually we get this thing. Because the interest rates don't seem to be doing it. So that's what I'm thinking. And I'm doing my part. I haven't bought a new car this year. I'm doing my part. I'm not going to fuel inflation. Would I like to get a new car? Sure. I don't want to fuel inflation. I can't afford it. Can't risk it. Can't do it. So, don't buy anything. Don't buy a thing. And maybe this inflation thing will just go away. So, we're sitting here this morning, 9:03. I haven't taken any trades yet. And right now we don't have a lot to work with. All right, so leading gappers LASE, FNHC is actually up 100%, but it's just under 50 cents a share. It's a little cheaper. LASC, this one, nice continuation, but it's just sort of been fading back down. It's turned into a bit of a grinder. It doesn't really look that exciting right now. So nothing really there at the moment. USEA just popped up on the scanners. Quick pop up, dipped back down. Had a move at one point back in July, but it's kind of slowed down. Second leading gapper, NCV. This one's $3.75. Higher float stock. WKEY. And you can see, look, there's just not much on the gap scanner that has volume today. So, unfortunately, what do you do? Well, you could look at the overall market. And I was tempted to take a trade on the Qs. I had it up, but on the CPI number that came out at 8:30, I just hesitated a little bit, and that was enough to feel like if I punched, I'd be chasing it. But right before the CPI number came out, it dropped. Like $2 a share, $1 a share from 61.70. It dropped down to 61.60, and then all of a sudden it rips back up here when the number actually came out. So, anyways, so I didn't want to chase it. This thing moves so fast. So you could trade the market. S&P looks like it's bear flagging right now, so a short on the market or long SQQQ would work. But anyways, Didn't trade that. Don't really have the interest in trading this today, so leaving that alone. CRKN, penny stock, from 28 cents up to 41 cents. Yeah. You know, I usually don't pay a lot of attention to these penny stocks, but, you know, it's obviously going up. So maybe that's where we'll see a bit of momentum. I don't know. So 44 cents moving higher. High of this candle, 44 cents. So there's 42 on the ask, 42 cents. 43, nice. 43. We'll see if it moves a little higher. So thank you guys for tuning in to the morning show here today on YouTube. I think it's going to be a bit of a slow day right now. Obviously, it only takes one. You have one stock that starts to open up. Could it be CRKN? Maybe a penny stock. You know, it only takes one. So have to be a little bit patient. But obviously, some days it's going to feel a little cleaner and a little easier than others. And today, so far, feels like there's a lot of headwind with what's going on with the overall market. So I don't know if we'll have any really strong continuation. Yeah, back to Lace. So it's a little bit, it's a little crowded. It's had a really nice move at like 7, and then has come into this kind of period where you have a lot of topping tails, a lot of dojis. It's not in a huge range, about a 40-cent range, 7 million shares of volume, so one-time float rotation roughly. This was sub VWAP, so we got back above it. If you broke through 415, you'd be above VWAP and pulling away, so that would be a stair-stepping up kind of level. Could you take a trade there? Well, sure, if you felt like it. Your target, I guess, would be a move up to first 420, 425, and then 430, 437. Yeah, I agree, Carl. That's always the case with penny stocks. You definitely need to take larger size to accommodate the fact that, you know, it's 50 cents, 1,000 shares. You know, if it goes all the way up to 60, you know, that's a 20% return. So that's pretty solid, but you'd only be up $100 on 1,000 shares. So you do have to start usually trading bigger size on those ones. IMUX? Let's look. I didn't check that one out. Yeah, so that, you know, it's a continuation setup. Yesterday was sort of similar. It had been higher, weaker pre-market, and then you got a red to green move. So now it's been higher, now weaker pre-market. Maybe you get a red to green move again. Yeah, penny stocks kind of do live in their own world. So they're even less sensitive than small caps usually to what's going on in the market. So watching penny stocks might make sense today. Yeah, well, USE, EA, it's a somewhat similar setup to Lace, right? It's back at 95. 6,000 shares for sale at 95. Seems like maybe a hidden seller at 94. FNGR, yeah. But I really think today is probably just going to be quick base hit trading. So but what we probably need is for something to feel obvious at the moment. CRKN back to 42 cents. Dip down there on a pullback, coming back up here. This would be a better one for TD Ameritrade or E-Trade, free commissions. So we've got about a little over 15 minutes to the opening bell. You can trade pre-market in E-Trade. You may have to change your time and force on the order. I don't recall what they have, but so yeah, I would watch IMUX if it gets over 1050, volume weight average price. That could be interesting. Continuation, red to green, kind of like what it did yesterday. So I'll put that one on a side chart. Well, RLMD sold off pretty hard. Gap down, big gap down. Down 78%. Float's a little higher at 30 million shares. It's easy to borrow. I think they had a bad trial, fails to meet main objective. So, the problem with these companies is when they're, super hyped up on something that they've got in, in the works, and then that fails, it can be really devastating. So you never know. Some people might end up buying it up because, gosh, it's already so low. But I don't have that much interest in it. I think that it has to be super obvious today. So something hitting the scanners. Okay, if it's hitting high day scanners, that's helpful. People will notice stocks hitting high day scanners. So if a stock is hitting a high day scanner a lot, that's going to help it gain some attention. More people are going to see it. Being on the top of a gap list is going to help. So LASE, it's not going to hit the high day Momo scanner Uh, well, it depends on different scanners will work differently with pre-market and regular trading hours, but it is a leading gapper, but it's back below VWAP. So it's not really positioned super well here. So we have a headwind today. This is a time to let the gains from previous days and previous weeks tide you over. Do not need to trade every single day. If there is not something obvious, if there's not something clean, it's better just to sit tight. Wait for that one obvious setup to form. So that's kind of my game plan right now. I wish, that the market was super hot and whatever, but it is what it is. What can you do? Trade the market you're in. MMAT shows that it's a 283 million share float right there. A green streak doesn't end with a no trade day in my book. It ends with a red day. That's the way I look at it. No trade days? I mean, what if you're sick? You call that the end of a green streak? No. If it's a no trade day, it's a no trade day. So this is where I'm at right now in the month. Let me clear this out here. So, we've holding it together pretty well here. Year started a little rougher, more red days. Been trading pretty well since June. May was good too. Only three, really April. I mean, really been pretty solid this whole year. I mean, can't really complain that much. So, there's a couple no trade days here and there. Some of them are holidays, some of them are just no trade days. It happens. Didn't trade on my birthday this year after losing $275,000 on my birthday last year. So for me, it feels like the cleanest and most obvious trades are on the early side, pre-market. The window where I do the best is between around 8:30 and 10:30. So, we're in the middle of that window right now, but I haven't taken any trades yet. So I haven't built a cushion, which means going into the open, I'm going to be feeling a little bit, uh, you know, nervous about overstaying my welcome. Well, you have to let it be water under the bridge. I invited my mom to come on a vacation with me, um, and she was like, "Oh, well, my JetBlue voucher just expired yesterday." She had planned a trip like a year ago. Trip got canceled. She got a voucher. It's for like $150. She was like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I ever want to fly again." And she's like losing that voucher. It was just so disappointing. She's been talking about this JetBlue voucher for like, I mean, basically since that first flight got rescheduled. And I'm like, come on. I mean, it's $75, $100, $150. What it's you got to let these things go. I've lost $275,000 in one trade and in a period of like 15 minutes. I mean, and she's not tight on money, so it's just, but it's a way of looking at things. It's all relative. And I told her, I said, it doesn't matter because I was gonna pay for your plane ticket anyways. So, oh yeah, well, it's the point. I don't think if she was actually gonna use JetBlue, she'd probably have to have like 3 layovers. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't even have been logically the most. I was checking the flights and they were all Delta. So you want to do nonstop Delta or like 3 layovers with JetBlue? So all that is to say that I really think it's very healthy to be able to accept loss and just to let it go. Because we're all going to have losses in one way or another. Okay, maybe it's a and some of them feel big. Losing $275,000 was a lot. That felt big. But on the flip side, when you don't have a lot of money, losing a 1,500 can feel big. Losing 150 can feel big. But what does it serve you to keep holding on to that loss? Right? And that's just sort of the thing with trading, is that trading forces you to experience loss and forces you to reconsider the way you think about and hold on to loss. Because you won't survive if you just keep holding on to these losses and holding on to that pain. You have to be able to let it go. You have to. Because, this is trading. It is risky. We do lose money. This is a high risk type of job. So it's a little hard for me to hear someone, and I told her, I said, I mean, I explained to her my point of view on it with my losses with trading and how I think it's really important just to let it go. I mean, what are you going to do? It's out of your control. It is what it is. Let it go. But yeah, someone was just asking how I handled that big loss, and I have a recap on it on YouTube, so you could check it out. So, and I recovered. So we've got about 5 minutes to the opening bell here. Overall market. Might see a little capitulation selling at the open as we break 350. Maybe, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, in terms of looking at what's the leading gap or what's moving up today, I'm not going to try to short the market. So VLCN popping up there, exclusive co-branding distribution partnership with an electric Europa. I don't even know what this is. So maybe I'm just not in the loop on this industry, but I don't know. So popped up a little bit, makes it the second leading gapper. Doesn't take much. IMUX coming up a little bit, still below VWAP. Side chart for red to green move. Okay, so with so a question there was wondering why you use the buy button and why you use hotkeys. Why do you when do you change or decide to use one or the other? So generally, the hotkeys will be if someone's like, "Hey Ross, PGY is spiking up." I type it in, and it's just faster because as soon as you type something in, you know, ZVZZT, you can press the buy button instantly. You don't have to go into your into this window and then manually click. So the workflow of typing and pressing ZV whatever, this is not an easy ticker to type in, ZVZZT, just like that, I'm in. Right now it's a test stock. Okay, so it's a test stock, but just like that, I'm in. That's faster than typing it and then coming down here and making sure I'm on the buy button. What if I click there? I got so when I have to trade fast, that's when I'm more likely to use hotkeys, when I have to add fast, whether it's because I'm buying something that is, I just typed it in, or I'm adding to something that's moving higher. Now, if someone says, "Hey, watch it," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and let's say VWAP is at like 10:15, I say, I'll put an order at 10:15. I like the look of that. And I'll put the order and I'll watch it. And if it starts to curl up, then maybe I'll say, you know what, boom, I'm in. So I'm in 3,000 shares that, there. And then as it goes higher, I can put my orders out and sell with a hotkey, hotkey on the ask. So I put my order, sell on the ask, whatever, take some profit. And then eventually hotkey to hit the bid and bail out of the position. Maybe if I'm in at 10:15 or 10:05 and then I say, I think I want to add to this position, I could press shift 1 or shift 2 to add to it. But in terms of workflow, you're always going to be faster if you can avoid using the mouse. So as much as you can avoid using the mouse, the faster you'll be. So using the mouse, if on a trade where you don't really need the speed that much because you're thinking about it calmly and it's not a rush, then that's fine. But if speed is important for the trade, then the hotkeys are going to be the fastest way for me. So ZVZZT is a NASDAQ test stock, so you could buy it, sell it, just to practice your hotkeys, all day long if you want. It shows them down $298. But if I log in to my actual platform, they exclude that trade. They exclude the commissions that there would be on it, and so it's called NASDAQ test stock. It is just a test stock. The gains and losses aren't real. They're not considered. All right, so here's the opening bell. Good luck for those that keep trading today on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Hopefully we have a better day tomorrow and we can finish the week with a green day. Reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results are not typical, so make sure you take it slow and don't trade money you can't afford to lose. DWAC, AZ. So, seeing some stocks hitting the scanners here. We'll watch these scans. Yep. Okay, so we've got some scanner action here. This is good.